to be a nice book. Once upon a time, before the Council of Nicaea got a hold of it in 325 AD on behalf of the Roman Empire and changed some books around. Once upon a time, the book that we call the Bible now was about 20 times bigger than it is, and the word sinner wasn't used once. We were not ever looked on by God as lowly, pathetic, bad creatures that could be manipulated by guilt to hopefully get back into God's favor. Why? So we wouldn't have to feel so miserable all the time down here. So maybe we could have what we needed. So maybe we didn't have to be afraid of death. There are teachings, the teachings that we're beginning to bring back here. The Catholic teachings were part of biblical texts. See, the Bible, what became the Bible, was part of a much larger series of books called the Mahabharata books. They are the teachings of the inner Christ. They are the teachings that Jesus taught. They were the teachings that John the Baptist and Miriam taught, that the Essenes taught 2,000 years ago. They were the teachings that, after that, the Cathari of southern France taught and were killed for it in 1244 AD when they were exterminated by, again, the Church of Rome, I believe, the Roman Catholic Church. There have been pieces of these books and the information contained within them preserved mostly in verbal tradition since they were last given in physical text, which was in the time of Jeshua, or Jesus, 2,000 years ago. Actually, 10 AD is when they were translated into writing. Jeshua was born in 12 BC, and by 10 AD, he and the people around him began the translations on the Mahabharata texts. The Mahabharata texts are part of a larger, huge body of information called the Emerald Covenant CDD plates, Cloister Doratura plates. They're ancient holographic discs that were given to this race in 246,000 BC, I believe. Yes, our race is that old and older. They were the original founders' race records of who we were, why we were put here, what our commission was, how science worked, how spirit works, how stargates work, how ascension works, and how to have a good time while you're in 3D. Because God wanted us to have a good time, because God's a loving God, not a wrathful God. The Mahabharata teachings, which were the teachings that pertain specifically to the inner Christ, which is the inner Templar, the energy systems and consciousness and spirit systems that run the body hologram, they also had teachings of the Templar, what we're beginning the teachings of next weekend, where you're dealing with the body's anatomy, the body of the Earth's anatomy. The systems we'll learn about this weekend, about our subtle body anatomy, also pertain exactly and directly to the planet, to a galaxy, and to universes. It is the core template structure that the universe was built on, and every microcosmic aspect of the universe follows that same template pattern. It is the pattern by which energy from source circulates through the 15-dimensional system and individuates itself into all sorts of manifestations. These teachings, the teachings of the Mahabharata, the inner Christos, the inner Templar, were the teachings of the Law of One. The Law of One refers to a body of teachings that told us about our relationship to Source, where Source is a collective, intelligent consciousness, eternal, limitless, boundless, that chose, in order to understand itself better, to create a framework of reality where a hologram of three-dimensional manifestation could take place. So Source first turned itself into the hologram, the structures, dimensions, and time matrices, and energy body structures, and then Source continued to individuate itself, and it created suns and planets, stars, galaxies, and it continued to individuate itself, and it created life forms to live on those planets and stars and galaxies. The Law of One teaches us that each and every one of us are a manifestation, a direct face and manifestation of the consciousness of God. Where